Hello everyone, welcome back to RaceRoom, and you join me on the grid for the first of two fantastic BMW M235i Cup races at Hockenheim. Yeah, that's right, it's a double header of racing on the channel today. And we're going to be starting race one from the front row of the grid thanks to a qualifying time of 1:53.7, which was good enough for second place behind the ultra-fast Brazilian Mauro Trevisan. It's a slightly longer video today, but if you've got the time, I'd recommend making a brew and settling in, because both these races are absolute belters right up to the final corner. But race one's about to get underway, so can we make the most of a front row start? Can we get to T1 before the pole position man, Trevisan? He was incredibly rapid in practice and qualifying, so we'll be relying on him making a bad start if we're going to get this whole shot. But he hasn't done. He closes the door into T1. We clip that sausage curb on the inside. That's going to cost us some momentum, and all of a sudden we're facing a challenge from the third position man, Florent Brewer. We've got Brewer on the inside and Christian Wolfers also on the inside, so we could be three wide into T2 here. We take a little bit of a nudge. Oh, then we take an even bigger nudge. That was from Wolfers on the right-hand side. We're going to be side-by-side charging down the parabolica, but I suspect I might have lost a bit of speed from that contact. I have done. Wolfers has moved into second position. We're in third. Brewer right behind in fourth, but he might be sizing up a pass as well, because it looks like he's carrying a bit of extra speed too. They're both going to be on the inside into the hairpin. Oh, Daniel Toth making a move up the inside too. He dives right in. I might be able to try the switchback. It's getting incredibly tight as we exit the hairpin. I've got Wolfers to the left of me, Brewer to the right, and here I am stuck in the middle. I don't know how we're going to survive this fast right-hander. Three wide. Oh, there's contact. We almost lose it. The contact with Brewer almost sent us into a spin. Oh, Brewer's disappeared. Where's he gone? Oh, he suddenly reappeared. Oh no, an absolutely bruising battle on this opening lap. Could get even more complicated if Brewer is struggling with ping. That was a really worrying moment when that car just disappeared. Hopefully it was just a brief connection blip for Brewer. We certainly don't want a high ping playing a part in the outcome of this race, but for now things have settled down just a little bit. And I tell you what, the one driver who's rubbing his hands with glee at this battle on the opening lap is the pole position man, Mauro Trevisan. He is cleared off. He's almost 4 seconds down the road. I told you before the start of the race he was rapid. We just have a look up the inside into the penultimate turn there, but Brewer slams the door shut. Well, what an opening lap. Mauro Trevisan crosses the line in the lead. Florian Brewer second. We're in third. Christian Wolfers in fourth, and Daniel Toth fifth. Yeah, what a lap indeed. There was plenty of rough, thankfully no tumble. Here's a replay of turn two. Christian Wolfers making a move up the inside of both me and Brewer. Brewer comes off worst there. I try and defend the position, but there's big contact between me and Wolfers, and then on the approach to the hairpin, Daniel Toth decides that a three-way battle just isn't enough. He throws his BMW into the thick of the action. At one point, we're four wide exiting the hairpin. Toth decides to back out, but I'm still stuck right in the middle of a sandwich in between Brewer and Wolfers. There's more contact with Wolfers. We just about managed to hold it, but watch Brewer. There's his ping issue, and he reappears right in front of me. Thankfully, the game didn't register any contact, but yeah, that is a big warning sign. Well, sadly, Brewer's ping issue wasn't just a one-off. It was a continued problem that was proving a real distraction. This is at the end of lap two. Watch him disappear just as I'm about to consider a move up the inside into the penultimate turn. By the time he reappears, I'm really spooked, so I've got no choice but to back off slightly. It really is one of the most distracting things that can happen to you in a sim race, and I'm now really cautious about getting too close to Brewer. But we're going to have to if we want that second position, because at some point we've got to grit our teeth and try and make the pass, and this could be the opportunity because we've got a better run out of T1. Brewer's going to take the defensive line. We've got no choice but to move to the outside. If we can carry a bit more momentum around the wide line, we'll have the inside for this next left-hand kick. Can we get it done? No, we can't. Brewer remains a car length ahead. We're going to tuck back in behind. We should get a little bit of extra speed from the draft down the parabolica, so there's always the option of making a move into the hairpin. We'll see if Brewer takes the defensive line or the racing line. He's going to move over and go defensive, but then he thinks better of it. He moves back onto the racing line. Either way, it doesn't matter because we're not close enough to make a pass. However, we are close enough to tuck it up the inside with a much tighter apex. Can we get on the gas just a little bit quicker? We've got our noses in front. We're half a car length ahead with the advantage into this fast upcoming right-hander. And we've done it. We're in front of Brewer. Oh no, but he's disappeared again. Where's he going to reappear to? He reappears behind us, but that spooked us and we get it all wrong going into Mercedes. The rear steps out. We managed to save it, but we've lost the position right back to Brewer. And to make matters worse, we're under pressure from Luis Blanco now as well. Blanco's got the drive on us. We're going to lose 2 positions. Yeah, bitterly disappointing to work so hard to take that second position, only to throw it all away a corner later. Here's the pass on Brewer. We got our line spot on through the hairpin, timed it to perfection, got the run on him on exit. At this point, we're half a car length in front, and we make the pass stick. But then watch the ping again. There he goes, and by the time he reappears, it spooked me again, and I get it all wrong into Mercedes. Just carry a bit too much speed. The rear steps out, and not only do we lose second position, we lose third position too. We're approaching the halfway point of the race now, and at least Brewer's high ping is Luis Blanco's problem for a little bit now. We're in 4th place, Blanco in 3rd, Brewer a few tenths further ahead in 2nd. We've got an excellent run on Blanco though out of turn 1. We might be in a position to challenge and take that 3rd position back here. We're not quite close enough. We have to back out. Blanco closes the door. Watch Brewer in 2nd. He's going to disappear again. Those ping problems still causing mayhem. He reappears, still in 2nd position, but Blanco is right on his tail now, and we've just lost a little bit of ground. We are almost a second behind now. Meanwhile, if you look in the rearview mirror, you'll see an even closer battle for 5th position. Daniel Toth and Dirk Hoffman. Now watch Hoffman in the rearview mirror. He's going to make a dive up the inside into the hairpin, which is going to wipe both of them out. And that's going to give me a welcome bit of breathing room behind. The pair of them were just 1 second behind, but that gap is now doubled. And here's a replay. Hoffman making a lunge up the inside. He's never going to get that car stopped. He runs right into Toth. Both of them managed to save it, but it costs them valuable time. Rejoining the live action towards the end of the lap, and we're still struggling with the disappearing Brewer. There he goes again. As Ben at LeBroca Sim Racing would say, it's like playing peekaboo at 120 miles an hour. You've just got no idea when or where he's going to reappear, and it makes it incredibly scary whenever you get close to it, particularly when you want to try and size up a pass. But speaking of sizing up passes, that's exactly what Luis Blanco wants to do on Brewer, but he's going to have his hands full with me here because we've got another excellent run through T1. We've got a lot more speed. Can we pull alongside and make the move into T2? We're going to have the inside line, but once again, I think we're just not quite close enough. But we've still got more than 6 minutes of this race remaining, and I'm confident I've got more pace than these guys. I still think we can challenge for second position. Well, come the end of the following lap, I wasn't quite as confident after making this mistake on entry into the stadium section. Blanco runs wide, I follow him in and run even wider. We get all 4 tyres into the gravel, and that costs us about 1 second. We're rejoining the live action on the penultimate lap. We've managed to close that gap back down, and we're now just 0.3 of a second behind Luis Blanco in 3rd. We're going to take a really late apex into the hairpin, trying to cut it up the inside, get on the gas just a little bit earlier and put Blanco under some pressure. We are putting him under some pressure, but we're not quite close enough to make the pass yet. But we're only going to have 1 more lap after this one, so we can't hang about. We're going to have to get it done sooner rather than later. I think our best opportunity is going to be at the start of the last lap in turn 2. We've seen a couple of examples of us taking turn 1 much faster and getting the run on Blanco, so we need to make it count. This time it needs to be 3rd time lucky as we enter the stadium section for the penultimate time. We're all over Blanco now. Meanwhile, further ahead, the leader, Mauro Trevisan, he is well clear. He's got a 12-second advantage over the driver in 2nd place, Florian Brewer. So barring an absolute disaster, Trevisan has got this race sewn up, but the rest of the podium is up for grabs. The vanishing Brewer has got 2nd place at the moment, Blanco in 3rd, me in 4th, but there's just 1.7 seconds separating all 3 of us. So here we go, 1 lap to go. What sort of pressure can we put Blanco under here through turn 1? It's going to be absolutely crucial to get our line spot on and carry as much speed as we can so we can pull alongside. Oh, we're running out a bit too wide. We're off track. Oh no, we've got a slow down penalty. We were just trying a little bit too hard there. I'm not going to ease off yet. I'm going to try and challenge Blanco around the outside. We might be able to spend this penalty without losing too much ground here. We've got rid of it. Meanwhile, the vanishing Brewer has reappeared right in front of us. And in fact, Blanco is going to get past him. Blanco into 2nd place. Can we take 3rd? Brew here swerves across. He's going to block the line, so we'll move out to the inside. No, they're going back to the inside. We'll move back to the outside again. We're going to challenge around the outside. But we've got no choice but to go for that late apex again. Can we stuff it up the inside on exit? Even better, will these two guys run into each other? No, they won't. Blanco's still got second place. Brew here in third. We're right on his tail in fourth, and you can throw a Blanco over the three of us now. Just 0.3 of a second, separated second from fourth. And is Brew here going to size up a dive up the inside into Mercedes? He is, you know. We've got to be on hand to pick up the pieces if this goes wrong. But Blanco bravely holds on to that second position. And I think we're running out of opportunities now to try and get a pass done and get ourselves onto the podium. We're approaching the stadium section for the final time. I think we're going to have to rely on these two beating each other up. So what's Brew here got left in his locker? Hopefully it's not a disappearing act as Blanco defends into this left-hander. Brew here goes around the outside and there's contact. Brew here switches back. Oh, he's disappeared again. Where's he going to reappear? He reappears right in front of me and right on Blanco's tail. We're not close enough. We're going to have to settle for fourth unless this battle in front ends in tears. Brew here on the inside. There's more contact through the final turn. Brew here's lost it. Blanco's out of shape. We can pull alongside Blanco. Have we got the run? We can squeeze through. We're in front of Blanco. Can we get past Brew here? No, we can't. But incredibly, we've got third position. Well, that has to go down as the most incredible last lap I've ever had in sim racing. I still don't know how we managed to squeeze through that gap. There's contact between Blanco and Brew here. We run out really wide. We're alongside Blanco now. And we squeeze through the narrowest of spaces to take third position. What a race. Yeah, what a race indeed. And here are the classified results from an absolute stormer at Hockenheim. Mauro Trevisan your winner, Florent Brewer in second, and somehow we take the final podium position. We're in third, and the unlucky Luis Blanco has to settle for fourth. So after a race as entertaining as that, we've got to give it another go, right? We're lining up for race 2 now. We're not on the front row this time, though. We've put it third on the grid. This time, a qualifying time of 1:54.1, so we're a little bit slower than the previous race. But we're still in an excellent position to challenge for another podium here, so let's just keep our fingers crossed that there are no drivers with ping issues on this grid, because really, Brewer's high ping was the only thing that let that last race down. The lights are about to go green. Let's see what we can do. Well, we've got the pole position now. Philip Richter right in front of us. Damien Renard on the inside. Renard started alongside Richter on the front row. I suspect both of them are going to get to T1 first. Yes, there's Renard. We get right on Renard's tail though. There's a little bit of contact. We pick up some incident points for that. Hopefully Damien won't mind. It was really tight through that first turn. We have a little look up the inside of Renard, but we're not close enough to follow it through. But Stefan Mays is far more bold. He took a real lunge up the inside there, ran out wide. Surely we've got enough pace to get back in front of him. Yes, we have. So as we let rip down the Parabolica for the first time, it's Philip Richter in the lead, Damien Renard in second, we're in third, Stefan Mays in fourth, and Martin Czech rounding out the top 5. Now let's keep half an eye on our rearview mirror with Stefan Mays. He made a real over-ambitious lunge into T2. Is he going to do the same again into the hairpin? Yes, he is. He's going for the inside line. Oh, there's contact. He pushes us out onto the curb. Thankfully, we hold on to it, and we've held on to the position too. But things, once again, are getting rough at Hockenheim. I actually feel I've got the pace to challenge for the victory here. Philip Richter's pole position time in qualifying wasn't that much faster than what I was doing in the first race. So if we can stick with these guys, I think I can challenge. So it's absolutely vital we don't get dragged into a dogfight with Mays behind. Let's just concentrate on hitting our markers, staying smooth and opening up that gap. It's 0.9 of a second now back to Mays, so a little bit of breathing room. I'm relieved to see that as we enter the stadium section for the first time. And I tell you what, I'm even more relieved to see 2 cars in front of me that don't keep disappearing. If we can stick with these 2 drivers, it's going to make it a hell of a lot easier not having to contend with high ping issues. Into the penultimate turn, we are starting just to spread out a little bit. Richter the leader, 1.5 seconds ahead now, and Renard in second. He's 0.7 of a second in front, but we're looking good. We're in a solid third position at the end of lap 1. So here's some highlights from that first lap. We're the first green car in shot. The second green car is tearing down the inside. That's Stefan Mays making a desperate lunge up the inside that was never going to work. He runs wide and we take the position back. Then at the very next corner, the hairpin, watch Mays again lunging up the inside. He clips the curb, almost loses it and almost takes me out too. Lap 2 then, tearing down the parabolica for the second time. We're losing a bit of ground on these two guys in front. They're both 1 second ahead now, but they are battling really hard for the lead, so that's going to work in our favour. We're going to be able to close back in on them here. Renard in the blue BMW tried to move up the inside into the hairpin, but he just couldn't get the car stopped. Richter read it perfectly, switched back and regained the lead. Yeah, watch Renard on the inside. It's always the danger when you take this inside line into the hairpin. Getting the car stopped is really difficult, and Richter was wise to it. Well, I was hoping that these two guys were going to slow each other down by battling so ferociously for the lead, but sadly, that didn't turn out to be the case. I was really struggling to keep up with them here, and over the next few laps, despite battling so closely together, they were able to open up a few tenths on me. This was the closest I was going to get. Approaching the halfway point of the race, we're going to capitalise on a mistake from Renard going into the hairpin. He just brakes a bit too late, runs it in too deep. We close right in. He gets a bit squirrely on exit. That rear just stepped out, and now we're right on his tail. Philip Richter in front. He'll be grinning from ear to ear when he looks in the rearview mirror to suddenly see that Renard is more than 1 second back with me challenging him. But yeah, that mistake from Renard came at exactly the right time for us. These guys were just starting to pull away. I was just beginning to lose sight of them, but now we're right back in contention. And here's another look at Renard's mistake. Yeah, he almost ran into the back of Richter there. Had to take avoided action. Broke too late. We're right on his tail there, but we can capitalise. Nor could we capitalise on tucking ourselves right back in behind Renard for a second time, because over the next few laps, once again, the leading duo began to pull away. We're rejoining the live action at the start of the penultimate lap, and as you can see, there's a gap of almost 1.5 seconds to Renard in second, and Richter still in the lead, but only just because he is coming under all kinds of pressure from Renard. Now, Renard finally making a move up the inside into T2. Can he make it stick and lead this race for the first time? Yes, he can. Richter's going to fight back at the first available opportunity. There's no doubt about that. He tucks right in behind the new race leader, and the hairpin is fast approaching. We're tearing down the parabolica now, so who's going to take the defensive line and who's going to go on the attack? Well, it's the leader, Renard, who's going defensive. He's going to have to get his braking spot on here. He doesn't want to run wide on exit because Richter will tuck it up the inside. No, he's done that perfectly. Look, he's closed the door. Richter's got nowhere to go. And this battle is really starting to heat up now. We've got 1.5 laps left, and if it continues like this, I wonder whether I might be able to close back in and challenge these guys. And it looks like Richter's sizing up a move up the inside into Mercedes. This could go very wrong if he doesn't get his spot on. Richter regains the lead, or does he? Renard keeps his nose in front and manages to get to that right-hander first. There's a little bit of contact, and we are suddenly all over the pair of them. I actually had to ease off the gas there. We had such a good run through that section. I had nowhere to go. I would have run into the back of one of these two had I not lifted off the throttle. But suddenly, we're in a three-way battle for the victory. Renard defending with everything he's got. It's taken him the best part of 10 minutes to take the lead in this race. The last thing he wants to do is give it straight back, but he's being put under all sorts of pressure from Richter in second. And look at all three of the cars twitching and sliding through these final two turns. It just shows how hard all three of us are trying here. Well, the final lap of the previous race was an absolute classic, and it looks like we're all set for another grandstand finish here. 1 lap to go at Hockenheim. There's 0.7 of a second separating first from third. But we've got a much better run than Richter through T1. We're carrying a bit of extra speed. Can we challenge into T2? We're going to think better of it. Oh, but Richter decides at the very last minute to try and move up the inside of Renard. It's surely not going to work, and we're going to take second position. Well, it was win it or bin it for Richter there, and unfortunately for him, he binned it. We are up into second position in hot pursuit of Renard. Richter now 0.8 of a second behind in third. And Renard must have had his heart in his mouth when Richter tried that move into turn 2. I don't know if there was contact, but it sure was close. We came really close to the leading two, taking each other out on this very last lap. That would have given us the win, but we're not out of contention for it yet. Anyway, because we're right on Renard's tail now. I mean, it's going to be a really tough ask to get around him and win this race, but you just never know what's going to happen. These have been crazy races at Hockenheim. Maybe there's one final twist left and Renard runs wide. Can we pull alongside him? No, we can't. He closes the door. I thought for a moment then he was running off track. I thought we could get around him and take the lead of this race, but now we're just a few corners from home, approaching the stadium section for the final time. There's a 0.4 of a second gap to Renard in the lead. I don't know if we can do it now. We're relying on a mistake from the driver in front, and I don't think we're going to get one. Meanwhile, we can become complacent and think we've got second place sewed up because Philip Richter is challenging. He's only 0.4 of a second back with 2 corners to go. Are we going to be able to make a move on Renard? It doesn't look like we are. He's here in the apexes. He's got the victory sewed up. All we can do now is hold our line and get on the gas and take this second position. Richter is too far behind to challenge. We've crossed the line. We've finished second place. What a race again. So all the big talking points over those final couple of laps occurred at turn 2. This is the penultimate lap. Renard finally making the move up the inside to take the lead from Richter. And then a lap later, we approach turn 2 for the final time. I'm right on Richter's tail. I have a think about making a move up the inside. I'm not close enough, but then Richter decides to go for broke, and that's how close he came to taking out the leader. And in the end, he did really well to hold on to it and not spin out completely, but that gifted us second position, which we held to the line. Here are the classified results then. Renard your winner, I'm in second, and Richter third. But what a couple of races in RaceRoom I've had today. Really enjoyable, and now I hope you can see why I decided to make this video a double header. I just couldn't choose between the races of which one to screen, so in the end I went for both, and that's why they were both absolute crackers. Well, that's it from Hockenheim for this week. Thank you so much for watching till the very end. I appreciate it's a longer video than normal. If you're not fed up of RaceRoom and want to see more, I definitely recommend you check out this race too. It was also an absolute belter. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll see you again for the next one. Cheers.